Hello, everyone, and happy Saturday. I'll be looking at Pinecone today. So Pinecone is a vector database. Let me start sharing my screen, and we'll get started. There it is. All right, and I'll be using the example that I started with last week, and it's the embed chains. Well, actually, let me run it. So it's embed chains combination of a like a UI portion of the application. So let me show that. That allows you to chat with your documents, but you can pass in anything else you want, like YouTube videos for transcripts, PDFs, and other things. Let me also start and it has two parts. The sample app has two parts. It's the UI part and then the backend API part that exposes the API, right? And then the front end calls to that API. So let's do Python just to show how this works. What? Oh, API. My app API. What am I missing? Virtual environment. Let's see. Probably. Yep, there you go. So the API is running on localhost 8000. My front end is on 3000. So what I can do is I can add data. So enter text or URL. So let's. I'll just pick one of the YouTube videos. I just want to show you how this works. And behind the scenes, this is using the like an in-memory, I think ChromaDB or something. So what I want to do, since I'll be looking at Pinecone, I want to set up Pinecone as a backend for that. So this one was look at here in the log. So it's inserting batches of ChromaDB, right? So recognize that it was a video, it added the chunks, right? So the source was added. So now I can ask the question and say, what is this video about? Feels like I've done this like 10,000 times already, but there you go, right? And then it might not be the correct thing. It's not really, yeah, it is. Yeah, it's right. Never mind. Yeah, it's a correct video. So the video is about, let me open it so everyone just know the context of the video. So it's about writing Kubernetes controllers. And I do like create like a PDF document controller or something. Doesn't matter, but the answer is correct here. So what I'll do is I'll try to replace the ChromaDB that the API is using, and then use Pinecone instead, and use that as an example or a way, rather, to learn about Pinecone. So let's do that. And I think this time there might be more stuff to share on GitHub repo. So I've already signed up for Pinecone. They do have a free tier. So I'll just create a project here, and then we'll get started. So let's do embed chain chat for find the service cloud provider. All right, so I guess GCP is my cloud provider. I don't think this really matters. I think it's where their database is hosted. I don't really care, and then I don't really have a choice either, right? So, and Iowa is the closest to me, I guess. Pod limit. You can set the maximum number of pods that can be used. Well, I guess one, because I have a starter project. All right, so let's do that. Okay. And then create an index. Well, I don't know what an index is, so let's look at the docs first. Okay, so pinecone.io, most trusted vector database for ambitious AI. Create an account. Yeah, it was very fast. Create an index, and then upload few vector embeddings from any model or few billion. And then they have an example here. So create an index. Dimension needs to be the dimension the same as the vectors you upsert, and then you connect to it. And then, oh, okay. And then this is just showing another upserting the vectors. But I'm assuming if I create this, and just hook it up with embedchain directly. I don't think I even have to use Python library directly, because embedchain will probably do that for me. But all right, so let's look at an example in the documentation. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff. Let's see, learn. Docs and learn is a different page. Let's do home. Okay, homes of the doc. There you go. Okay. So getting started, indexes, understanding what this is. Let's do, okay. All right, so this document describes a concept related to Pinecone indexes. So index is the first thing that they ask you to create. So before I click create, I want to know what it is. So index is a highest level organizational unit of vector data in Pinecone. It accepts and stores vectors, serves queries over the vectors it contains, and does other vector operations over its context. Each index runs on at least one pod. All right, so I'm coming from the Kubernetes background. So pod, whenever someone mentions pods, I go right to Kubernetes. Hey Marino, looks like you don't have anything to do over this Saturday either, right? So thanks for joining. Yeah, so I don't think this is Kubernetes pod per se, right? So they're saying that their pods are pre-configured units of hardware for running Pinecone service. So each index runs on one or more pods. Generally, more pods means storage, lower latency, higher throughput. You can also create pods of different, okay. So once an index is created using a particular pod type, you cannot change it. I don't think it really matters for me because I'm on a starter plan, so that's all that I can do, right? I don't have any choice. You cannot change the pod type for that index, makes sense. However, you can create a new index from that. Okay, so I could start with a starter plan, create a pod that's part of the starter plan, and then if I'm going to upgrade, I could reuse that index that was created on that pod and then start get a bigger pod, I guess. So different pods are priced differently. So let's quickly see. All right, so how do we bill? It's going to be a nightmare to read probably. So pods, indexes, scaling. Okay, so there's three components. So starter is free. That's what we're doing. And then standard is $96 per hour. So what's that? So that's 10, 20. So that's like 10, 0. Yeah, so that's like $1 per 2 hours. Oh, sorry, per day or something. I don't want to do public math, but but they're probably also then like any number of pods, zero scaling. Oh yeah, and then they extra charge you for data, I guess, right? And the number of indexes probably. All right, not going to worry about this since we're on a starter plan. And what can we do with the starter plan? We can create one pod with enough resources to support approximately 100,000 vectors with 1536 dimensional embeddings and metadata. All right, well, just tell me in the terms of, is this a 100-page document or is this, well, it probably depends, but give me an example. Anyway, we'll figure it out when we reach the limit. There are different sizes based on the, all right. All right, okay, so let's go back to, where were we? Understanding indexes. Okay, so this is just telling us what it is. So it's basically a place where we store vectors pretty much, right? Managing, what I have to do. All right, so this is already going into creating, managing, et cetera. So let's see what happens if I go here and click create index. I can enter a name. So see, this is the thing. I don't know. So the metrics will depend on the model you select. So if I do setup by model, okay. So it goes and picks the embedding that you want to use, and that one tells you what the dimension is, right? Yeah, I'll be using OpenAI, so let's just do that one. Okay. All right, so that sets it up for me. I'll leave this as is because that was their magic setup button. Starter, nothing to select here. And then over here, I'll call my index. I'll call it YouTube videos because let's just say I'm gonna like use YouTube videos as my the data, right? That I want to put into the vector store. So let's do that. So YouTube videos. So it's initializing. All right, so I don't have anything in there. Makes sense. There's some metrics here. I don't know what namespaces are. I don't have any. Let's see, I can configure. I can connect to it. Okay, so this is just connecting. All right, so we have the index. Let's go here. Not going to be managing much since we only have one anyway. I'm going to back. Oh, namespaces. Okay, so let's see what are the namespaces. So Pinecone allows you to partition the records in an index into namespaces, queries, and other operations, and then limit it to one namespace. Okay, perfect. So this is what I'm thinking. So so if let's say we're doing the chat with the YouTube video functionality, right? So what I want to do is I want to use Pinecone as a database, but then I want this section of the data or one YouTube video, the records of that one YouTube video to be separated from like another YouTube video. And I'll do that with namespaces, I guess, right? So if I do video 1 is going to go to the same, what did I call it? Embedchain, same index. Oh, let me refresh. I'll go to the YouTube videos index, and then from here I'll have namespace is going to be called video 1, right? And then if I have more videos, I'll create a separate namespace for each video. So that way, Wayne, I can pick the video and then pick the namespace rather, right? And all the answers that the user is going to get back will be based on the knowledge from that video 1 and not video 2, right? Which kind of makes sense, I guess. But then the question is, how and can you merge the namespaces later on, right? If you think about the scenarios, right? Yes, I want to chat with an individual video. I hate to use that term like chat with the video, but that's what it is, right? So chat with an individual video, but then I'm also thinking a scenario where maybe there's a like series of 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 videos, right? And I want the user wants to chat with all of them at once, right? So we can basically say, well, don't go to this one namespace for video 1, go to this other namespace that's a combination of either other n namespaces, or do I have to create a separate namespace and then copy the data from individual namespaces into one? Or maybe there's a way where you can say, we'll see, I guess. Maybe there's a way that I can say, well, use these namespaces as your like a section in the data, right? Maybe we can do that. Maybe I should continue reading the thing. For example, exactly. For example, you want to define a namespace for indexing articles by content and another for indexing articles by title. Okay, so they have an example here. So every index is made up of one or more namespace. So every record exists only in one namespace. Namespaces are uniquely defined. When you don't specify a namespace, Pinecone. Okay, so there's a default namespace with an empty string. I want to scroll here. Okay. Creating. So you provide a single namespace. And then, and then when you're querying, you're basically specifying the namespace as well, right? You can create more than one. Yep. And then operations across all namespaces. There you go. So all vector operations apply to single, with one exception. So the describe index statistics operation runs per. Oh, okay. But this is the statistics, so I don't care about that necessarily right now. All right. So there's no way, I guess, to query across multiple namespaces. So you would have to recreate, I guess. So if I want to do multiple merge multiple videos, it would be into one. Yeah, I would have to do into one namespace. So it would be get the data, create a new namespace, let's say combined, right, to copy data from, let's say, video one into combined, and then copy the data, copy data from video two into combined, right? All right, and I guess these, well, these should be ideally long-lived, right? Because creating and recreating these is not, it's probably not a very fast operation. I think it probably takes a little while. It might not be very slow either, but it's probably not something that you want to keep on recreating, maybe. I don't know. Inserting. Okay, I'm hoping that embedchain will figure this out for us, so we don't necessarily have to worry about the like low-level details like that. Low-level details. It's probably in the code, right? We can take a look, but looks like it's fairly straightforward, right? You initialize the import, the Pinecone import. You pick an index, and then you're basically query the index with the vector. If you have a string query, you'll probably have to convert that to a vector first, and then query it like that. And then this one doesn't have it, but you can specify a namespace, right? This one goes to the default namespace. Okay, querying by namespace. You pass the namespace in. You can add metadata. Okay, so you can add metadata as you're including the data, which kind of makes sense, right? So if you're doing YouTube videos, you might have to do, you can do like who was the creator, the channel name, year, duration, whatever you want to filter on, I guess. Put that into metadata so you can filter it later. Querying vectors with sparse and dense values. What is sparse and dense values? What is an example here? Let's see. Hybrid search. Sparse vectors with sparse and dense values. Hybrid search. It combines the semantic and semantic and keyword search. Okay. Oh, it's public preview. All right. So they're still working on it, I guess. Okay, and there is a different way that you would create vector embeddings. Okay, so let's see how we can at least get started. Do they have anything here? They don't have anything here for embed chain. So I'll go to the embed chain docs. Organizations, examples. Maybe they have something in the examples. Let's see. Too much stuff. Length chain. They have length chain example. There's no embed chain. All right, so let's go embed chain, and we'll probably have to like configure stuff here. So let's do docs, and we'll search for Pinecone. I remember it's there. Oh no, I don't want to ask. I want to do this. All right, there you go. So install, and so first step, install the Pinecone dependency. So let's do that. I'll cancel out here. Let's make that bigger there. If font is too small, scream. I'll make it bigger. Oh, looks like there. It's installing. So in order to use Pinecone as a vector database, set the environment variables, Pinecone API key, and Pinecone env. You can find it at Pinecone dashboard. All right, so let me open this on a separate screen. So I don't want to flash an API key. Oh, I don't have to. There you go. Right. So you go to API keys. You have the environment name. I guess that's the Pinecone env. So we'll do that. That was not really a secret. So it's GCP starter. Okay, so I'll set up that one. And then I have to set up the API key, but I'll move this off screen and do it there. I have to paste it. So I'll do export Pinecone. Pinecone API key equals, and then we'll copy the key value. I'll set it. There we go. Okay, and we're back here. Okay, so I have the two variables set. Yep, and then we load the config. So the config is going to look like this. So vector DB. All right, so let's see. AMP LLM, I have that set up. I guess I need to do vector. Oops, vector DB, and we'll do nice provider. Provider is Pinecone and config. Oops, config. There should probably be in a YAML file that's then like read in instead of that way. Oops, what was the config? So metric, dimension, and collection name. So I'm gonna need my metric is cosine, dimension is 1536, and collection, I think it was collection name, was it? Where was it? This guy, right? No, this. Collection name, oh, it's the index name. Okay, so it's the actual index name, which is this. Embedchain chat is my index name. All right, so let's put this in the right format. So cosine, it's probably a Visual Studio shortcut that adds these. The dimension adds the quotes. Let's type it. All right, so we have the provider. So we set up the vector DB, and it looks like that's it. Let's see if I'm right. Python 3 main. I guess we should see right away if it fails or not. Oh, it failed, of course. All right, so let's see what's wrong. So it did try to create the DB, right? And then create index. So it failed creating the index. Why did it fail? Bad request. Bad request. Okay. Capacity reach projects. Oh, because I already have an index created. Interesting. Oh, this one creates an index. So maybe we definitely don't need to create an index. So let's go into, I think it's main, app, API app, include router, no. Where do we actually, it might be in the API. It's where we create the, oh, there you go. Yeah, so pipeline from config. So this, we have to tell it to not create an index, right? So let's do embedchain app. Is that what it's called? It's pipeline, right? Pipeline. Local testing. Set up your rack pipeline. All right, so app. Populate, add. Okay, no. Deploying, no. Let's see. Vector databases, maybe something's there. This is all default stuff. So I need a way to tell it to not create the index and just use it instead. As if I remember seeing this, oops, last time. Let me see. Document, no. So let's go to their GitHub embedchain, and we'll find something here probably. what are we looking for? So from config, config app, right? It's an app. So from config, class, config path, config auto deploy YAML. Okay, so instantiate a pipeline from a configuration. But I actually need the vector DB, right? So it's there, vector DB, Chroma, Pinecone. So let's see. So init, self-config, Pinecone defaults to none, optional. So if config is none, it's going to create a new one. Yeah, so we did create a, oh, there you go, setup index. So it reads the API key. What is get index name? Where is get index name? So get the Pinecone index, collection name, vector. Okay, so it's just create. Oh, okay, so it uses whatever you pass in. So it looks like it's not. Oh, because they use their own naming, I guess, for indices. Indices. Is it indices or indexes? Okay, so what they're doing is they're looking for. They have this. They use this specific naming convention down here. I zoom in, which is the collection name. In my case, is embedchain chat dash vector dimension is 1536. And then they're also replacing the underscores with dashes, which I don't say. So what I should do, if I do, let's do embedchain dash 1536. Yeah, so that's what they're using for the index name, right? So if I go here, go back to this guy, and we're just going to rename this one, and just to make sure that it's, can I rename it? I can't. Oh, now we can delete it, right? YouTube videos. Hopefully there's no limits on how many times I can create or delete things. All right, so I'll call it whatever embed chain is using, just to double check that that's the case. Not that it matters, but could have just deleted it and then rerun it, and embed chain would create this for me. But this is an interesting one. So let's do embed chain shouldn't assume the name of the index. Instead, there should be a property. That's passed in whether we want embed chain to create the index or not, right? Because I would theoretically, what I wanted to do is I want to pass in my my naming, use my naming convention for the index, not rely necessarily on the one that embed chain uses. All right, so let's try it. I think this will work now. It's hopefully, fingers crossed. Yeah, there you go. So this works. Perfect. So we have it set up, I think. We'll see right away. Let's go to here. So this is connected. We need to, I'll grab the video again, and we'll do add URL, add it, and this should now go and created in Pinecone. There you go, right? So it said adding documents to Pinecone, done. It's weird that it says 0 new chunks, which I'm a little bit, maybe it didn't work, but we should see some stuff here now, right? Yeah, there you go. All right, so okay, so we messed up the namespace. Well, we didn't mess it up, but what I wanted to do is I wanted to actually, like, this is the default. It's going to the default namespace now, which is odd, right? But okay, app ID. So app ID is whatever I have here. YouTube video author, it knows that it's me. Hashlane, when it was published. Oh, and then the text and thumbnail and the title of the video and the link to the video. Okay. All right. So the next thing that I want to figure out is how do I want to provide the namespace name. I don't want it to go to default namespace automatically, right? I don't think you ever want to do that necessarily. So let's look at their code. So I think this is no query is query. That's fine. Add, right? So add gets called. Add data in vector database. List of metadata IDs, adding embedding function. Okay, so it does the embedding, creates the docs with the metadata, creates the chunks, and then it calls the upsert. However, this upsert, and this is from Pinecone, so let's do this. Let's go to the docs. I think that's the, let me paste it in here. Is it upsert? Oh, there you go. Upsert. Oh, nice. They have this style of playing with their API as well. So you can try it out directly in your browser. All right, writes vectors into a namespace. Okay, so if you don't provide anything, this is, yeah, so I guess if you don't provide anything, it just assumes that it's an empty namespace, which we don't want. And it doesn't really look like this supports it unless there's a way to, oh, this KWArgs, how to pass in KWArgs. I've never really, I haven't done a lot of Python, so I don't know how this actually works, but since it allows passing in these args, maybe I can just pass it in somehow. But then let's see this add when it gets called and how it gets called. What is the easiest way to, so we did add source. So it called add. So probably source. Can I do KW args here? But how do I identify what I want to add? I want to add the namespace, right? So is it namespace? What do I want to call it? My video, just so we can try it if this works. I don't know. It's not defined. Does it have to be like this? I'm guessing here, so we'll see. So let's go back to, where's the UI? Here. Now I'll just add the same video. I just want to see a separate namespace being created. That way we know that it worked. So let's do this. Okay. Oh, it already, all data from already exists. Okay, so it knows that, so it knows that it's there. So let's clear everything from here. Just do this. Actually, I can delete the whole thing, right? Embedchain, and now we can try to make sure that LangChain will actually create a index for us. Where is it? It's here. All right, paste this in again. Let's do it. Oh, there you go. So what is it saying? Index not found. What? What? Oh, because it's maybe because it has the old reference. Let's try again. I just restarted the API. Has anyone tried Pinecone? Anyone worked with it before? What were your experiences? I'm curious. I saw a lot, like I saw tweets and articles, but I've never never actually read them. So so this is my dedicated time looking at this. So let's see. Yeah, now it works. Okay. All right. So it added this. I don't know why it's new chunks. It shows 0. Maybe there's an issue there as well. But let's see if it took the namespace name. Okay, so it created one. It didn't. All right, so embed chain Pinecone at namespace name. Feels like one of those. Yeah, we know how this works. There's, oh, but this is LangChain issue, right? Using namespaces on a function from which it has no effect, consider passive, which has no, but upsert has, right? So it's upsert, right? And that's what is being called. Where's the embed chain code? It's here. Add, and then down here it's chunks, right? Client upsert, and then it takes the kwargs. And let me see. This might be just me not knowing how to pass these things in. Python, how to pass kwargs. Let's do this. Okay. All right. So So by prefixing, you unpack the dictionary kwargs to keyword arguments. A dictionary type dict is a single variable containing key value pairs. Keyword arguments are key value method parameters. Any dictionary can be unpacked by prefixing it. Okay. All right. So here's an example. So kwargs, and then this is the unpacking, I guess. Call using an unpack. Call using normal keys. Oh, so I can do this, right? Namespace. If I'm reading it correctly, right? My video, right? I could theoretically just use the URL, right? But let's just do my video. And let's go back. Too many windows. There it is. Let's delete this. Embedchain. Embedchain Chad 1536, 536, delete. All right. Did I restart? Yeah, let's restart this one. And we'll go here. Do the same thing. It's running. Let's add the YouTube video. It added it. It didn't fail, so maybe this the syntax worked. We'll see. Go to Pinecone. Here, refresh. No records? What? Should be records. It's telling me there should be records. Yeah, there you go. It worked. All right, perfect. Oh, this was me not knowing Python, right? There you go. Add the source to a specific namespace. And what we want to do here, I don't want this to be my video. What I want this to be is successfully saved. Message response. I'm assuming the source is the URL, so we'll just do it by URL. I don't know if there are limits on how to like Pinecone namespace naming. If there are any limits on how you can name, what can you name the namespace? You know, does it have to be a string? Can it be a URL or automatically? It's not saying anything, but there's some example here. Oh, maybe you can use just a video title, maybe, right? All right. Source, what is source model? Source model. Let's see what's here. Source, is there like a, this is a string, right? I just print what's here in the source. I don't know how it looks like. I need the YouTube. Oh, it's not going to be here. It'll be the, okay. So I would have to like parse the name of the video even beforehand. Let's just do my video for now, but my video. So the problem is here, if I want to use the video title as the namespace name, I'd have to parse the YouTube link here and extract the title of the video. Yeah, and then pass it in, right? But that happens in the add method automatically, right? Where it's, I guess, too late already to do the namespace. All right, so we have that, and oh, actually, let's try make sure that this works. What is this video about? Maybe it's not going to work because on query, I also have to know what the video, like what the namespace is. Yes, exactly. So what I have to do is when we're chatting, this chat, eventually calls into the query here. This is the query on the pinecone.py file on embedchain. So this one takes the args as well, which is good. And then it's querying. Yeah, it's just querying. So I guess if I do the same thing here, and we'll say namespace, namespace equals my video. We have that. So my video, I have to change that to something that's normal. Now this should work. Go back and say, what is this video about? No, do I have to restart again? I thought it automatically restarts. But at least I don't have to like add the source again, right? Because now it's Pinecone, so it's there. Why is it failing? This doesn't make sense. I would expect this to work, right? So there's admin. Let's see if we can see anything. It's not. Oh, there you go. My AI API. Why is it the demo? Why is this containing like, let me see if I have like an old store running. I don't want it to. Yeah, of course I do. So we'll delete the DB. Let's run it again. And this should not now show. Weird. It shouldn't show nothing. Oh, wait a minute. Why is. All right, this doesn't make sense now. I was expecting this to just read, like connect to Pinecone. Why is it now saying embed chain store? Collection doesn't exist. It should work, right? What is this video about? Oh, there you go. So it does work. So it does work, right? Now it actually connects to, it does connect to Pinecone. It does pass in the namespace on the query. So I get the information back. But I don't know why is it failing the embed chain store. I don't know what is the embed chain store here. Are they storing something? Or maybe it was just temporary. Oh, it might have been just temporary error or something. Oops. Temporary error. Anyway, all right, so let's do, let me see. Okay, so you have that. So what I want to do next is I want to pass this namespace name from the front end to the back end. And let me just figure out what is the good way to, because I was hoping to see my collections here from the Pinecone, but looks like that's not working yet. Let's see, where is it going? So no, so this is question answer. So admin, collections, list collections. Oh, because it's hard coding the chroma thing, right? It shouldn't. This should be the actual Pinecone database. So let's do this. ChromaDB. So maybe I do have to use the Pinecone API. So let's do the thing that I skipped before. It always comes back. Okay, docs and API reference. Is it? No, guides. Quick start probably has something, right? Yeah, so we need to import Pinecone. Then we have to do Pinecone init. And what does this give? Will this give us something back? This Pinecone init. Let's see here. No, manage indices, list, describe, creating. There has to be a client that gets returned, right? It's this one. Let's see how this one has it set up. So Pinecone DB, set up Pinecone index. We don't need this. What is the base vector DB? Initialize. Oh, so it initializes it. Oh, okay. So we can do Pinecone. I can basically copy paste this, right? Do Pinecone in it. Have to indent it, otherwise Python will complain. So import OS. So read the stuff from the OS. So this makes it initialized. And then let me comment this out. And then we'll do list collections. Is there a list collections thing there? We'll do Pinecone. I don't know if it has list collections, so let me just double check. Here, maybe. List. Oh, yeah, it is. List collections. That's what we want. So list collections, and then get collection, create, describe, list. There's no get collection. Let's see. Get collection. Oh, okay, so why do we need get collection? To get the data for a specific collection name. So we need collection details, which will be described collection, I think, right? So we'll do Pinecone dot describe collection. Yeah. And what do we get back? What do we get back? Give me an example. So we get name, status, dimension, and vector count. Name and then data. How do we get the data? So index vector probably, right? Query, but query searches the namespace. Namespace, filter, metadata, collection documents, sparse vector. Trying to figure out what the an example here. Show me an example. Metadata. So again, metadata and documents. So describe, fetch. Oh, maybe it's fetch, not query. Vectors by ID, but I don't need. I need all of it, right? Vectors. But this one asks me to like pass in the vector ID. List index is created. Describe. Oh, describe index maybe. Is it? Maybe this one will give us what we need. Database status. Metadata. Okay, so this gives us metadata. They have metadata. Is it the same? Create list. There's just a list the indexes. Yeah. Describe collection, list collection. Oh, but this is Chrome. All right, so I'm not gonna worry about this because it's I can actually this is not gonna work, right? But at least we could get the list of collections. That will probably work. Maybe or maybe not. Collections is not supported. What? Collection. The requested feature is not supported by the current index. Oh, what? I can't get a collection because I'm using starter. That's odd. I wasn't expecting that. Thought it was my mistake somewhere. But let's see. List collections. I am logged in. Oh, I have to log in. Let's see. I just log in. I want to flash my emails. This guy. All right, so let's see. Hopefully this doesn't like off. Of course, header. Yeah, if anyone wants to grab the header there, do it. I don't care. Invalid API key. Okay. I thought you said it's gonna like populate my API key. What? let me decode this one. Oh yeah, it doesn't this one doesn't include any payload. That's weird. Doesn't look at this, right? There's no payload data here. So How do I how do I paste in my API key? Do I have to like just paste it here directly? Let's see. Let's try that. I'll try it off screen, and I just want to see the format of data that we get back. So wait just a second. So copy key value. Go try it. Ha! I don't get anything back. That's interesting. Interesting. If I run it, it just the response that I get back is nothing. It's empty. Oh, do I have a collection? Let me see. Maybe I'm missing like the term. No, even if I do like list indexes, I don't get anything back. I get an empty string. So yeah, this is the response that I get back. Calling list indexes and then list collections is the same thing. So, all right, not gonna worry about it. We're not gonna play with the admin stuff there. But okay, so what I want to do next is I want to when the mode is on add, i.e. we're adding the data, right? What I want to do is, what did I mess up here? Oh, I added like a, there you go. What I want to do here is instead of just pasting in the URL, I also want to pass through the backend API the namespace name for that data, right? So let's do that. Just quickly in the UI. I'm not gonna sorry, chat. It's in a chat window, right? And then actually, what we could do is send chat message. So send add data. So this is what it gets called. This is the payload. So we'll add a namespace here, namespace. And then now we have to figure out what do we do? What is the namespace that do we like give the user the ability to, yeah, I'll just put it in the UI. It's playing with this anyway. So this is the button. This is the form. This is where the switch is. This is, so we have to put it under, sorry, this is switch. I think if I put it here, it's not gonna, let's see. And they're using, what are they using here? What's the UI thing? Yeah, they're using, is it radix, whatever you call it? UI, what do we call these things? I guess not a starter kit, but yeah, so UI kit, I guess that's what you call these. So if I do ID here, div here, whoops, div here, and then I can do inputs, and we'll call that namespace, and I'll say placeholder, namespace, autocomplete off. Yeah, let's see where it shows up. Yeah, we want to put that under, so we'll do, whoops. So we'll add another div, and don't yell at me. I'm not a web developer. I'm not a web designer, and definitely not a CSS expert. So it's very obvious that, right? So let's see. So there's a form. Have to do like flex. Oops. No. Why is it? Anyway, again, not gonna worry about this. Let's go back as it was, even though it's ugly. All right, so this is my namespace. I probably don't need a div here. What I wanted to do is, oh, I have to wrap these two, right? So I've wrapped these two, but these are, I need this, right? Okay, I guess. And then the input is there, but I also need this to be class name full, right? Okay. All right. This looks better. And we can make this. Oh, I have class name, and we'll make this like this. I don't know. All right. Anyway, you get the point, right? Namespace. So we have that input there, and what we want to do is we want to pass that input through the send chat message. So we'll do current message. Okay, and then we also need to get const namespace name, const namespace name, event current target. No, that's not. Let's just do the. I'll do it the way that I know how to do this. Might not be right, but that's how I'm going to do it. So I'll do const, and we'll call this namespace. Yeah. So Copilot already knows what I'm trying to do. And then we'll do value equals namespace, and then on change is just setting namespace there. So I have it in the state value, and then I don't have to do this current target message and then getting it like that. So we can just say namespace, right? There you go, right? And then we have to modify chat message to take the namespace as a string. And if it's send query, then we're passing that namespace to, whoop. Yeah, we'll have to pass it to both, right? Namespace, send add data, namespace, namespace, and then if it's not, we'll just do the empty one, which is default, right? So we'll say if namespace is not provided, we default to, which is the default namespace in Pinecone, right? Even though I could have done this in a backend, but let's do it as soon as possible, or as soon as we can. All right, so we send that back. Well, we send it to the backend. That's fine. We don't care about the namespace when it comes back, the response that it comes back. And then also when we're sending it with the query, we have to add the namespace here. And oh, God, this one is sending it like this. Okay. All right. So let's change this like this. It's easier to read. Let's go this way, and then let's just do namespace like this. So we'll assume that I'm not going to do encoding, so it's just for a sample thing, right? But if this was like, if this included spaces or anything like that, you would have to do encode. Actually, well, I'm not going to do it, but you have to do, I think it's encode URI component or something like that, right? All right, so this is front end. So front end is sending these things now, and then in the back end, in the API, post, so add source model. So let's see, what is the source model here? Source string, is it namespace string as well, right? Yes, namespace string. So we get namespace when we're adding the, so this is just to parse, I guess the fast API that is used here is going to magically does the parsing for you. I think parsing of the body, I guess, when you do it this way and you do this. What are these things called? I know it's an at character, but the way of decorators, the way of decorating these functions, I guess this tells it to like, whoops, get the body right using this base model is what, Pydantic? Yes, yeah. So it parses the model. The string that's passed in is a post data, right? It parses this into a class. So we can do namespace, source model namespace, and then we'll say source added successfully to namespace, just so we know that it works, right? This, and then chat. So chat is different, right? Because what is query none? Is it saying that default to none if it's not provided? Namespace, I don't want to do query none because I don't know what it means, but it can't be the last. Oh, it doesn't. I don't think this has to be in order, so it doesn't matter. But because this looks like it's optional, or it has not optional, it has the default value set. It has to be the last one, right? Which kind of makes sense. Namespace. We do namespace here. Namespace, and then let's just add a. I'll just do the print statement. Probably do logging. Right, let's do it that way so we can see what's happening. All right, so this is all set up. So what I have to go now back here, and let's just delete everything yet again. So we get the actual like the namespace that I want to pass in. So we'll do that. What? Space? Yeah. Lead index. Okay. And oh, I shouldn't have to restart it, but oops. Let's start this again. And if we go here, just pick the same video, and we'll call this Kubernetes controllers because that's what it is. Mode add. So we're going to add the data, and then we'll call the namespace writing controllers. Is that what? Yeah, I think that's. Anyway, it doesn't really matter, right? But that's what it is. Let's do that. Adding documents. Looks like, yeah, I have a typo here, but it looks like it added, it took the namespace that we wanted. And we can double check and close this. Let's refresh here. What? It's not my video. I deleted this one. Or did I left it hard coded somewhere? I probably did. Let's see. Of course I did. There you go. Bleh. So it's namespace, right? Namespace. All right, well, let's repeat the same thing again. Delete. There's a lot of doing the same thing over and over again when you're learning things, which is good. I always, sometimes people say like, oh, you're repeating all these things. You could automate it. It's like, no, I just like typing because then I practice my typing as well, right? But anyway, let's go here. Oh, it actually created the index already, but it's empty, right? It doesn't have any records. And over here, if we add the same video, we're going to call it writing controllers. Let's do that. To add it to writing controllers. Let's refresh. We should see writing controllers now. Here, any second now. Let's refresh again. Come on. There you go, right? So we have the writing controllers, it's the video, right? And what we could do now is, oh, did I modify? Yeah, I would say switch to query mode and say, what is this video about? And it should tell me about writing controllers because that's what, right? We have the query session and the namespace is writing controllers, right? Blah, 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 blah. Now, if I could, I think they said I can create a second namespace, right? Or was I wrong about that? Oh, let's see. So let's go to add again, and I'll go and pick another YouTube video from my channel. Let's do the limiter one. It's always a popular one, I guess, at least for me and my testing. All right, and I'll add this one, and we'll call this istio rate limiter. Okay, let's see if this will work. Oh, it works. So you can have multiple namespaces. I thought that. No, I can't. What? Or maybe I need to refresh again, right? Let's see. Come on. Oh, there you go. Yeah, it works. So I can have multiple namespaces. So now if I go to, and just see if it, yeah. So I have STL rate limiter and writing controllers, two of the videos. So now if I ask the question from this namespace, so what is this video about? It should tell me that it's about Istio rate limiter, right? What? You do. What is this video about? You should. Why? Let's restart. I don't know if someone is caching something somewhere, but what is this video about? Let's try again. That doesn't make sense. Why doesn't this work now? I do have two collections, or two namespaces rather. Yeah, Istio rate limiter. Let's do query. Let's see. Yeah, X rate limiter headers, right? How to configure rate limiter in Istio. So it is there. Data is there. Why isn't this guy not? Why isn't it querying correctly and telling me I have no clue what this is? So let's do writing controllers. Change the namespace and say, what is this video about? Will it know? All right, so this one it knows. So let's do Istio rate limiter. What is this video about? Interesting. What is Istio rate limiting? Let's try it that way. It should know that it's a video, right? But why is it saying it doesn't know? All right, let me just double check that I'm using the correct Istio rate limiter. Let me paste it in here. Yeah, it's the same. What is this video about? Let's ask it again. Nope. It's saying no. So it is passed down correctly, right? It is passed to the rate. I mean, it's the namespace. I get it in the backend, right? It did create the data, right? So the data is there. So it's something here in this chat, or when it's querying it, I guess. So let's look at the code. No, where was it? Oh, this one. No. Add query, right? Query. It's weird because it works for the first one that we did, but it doesn't work for the second one. That doesn't make sense, right? So query self-embedded. Okay. Takes the input query, creates the query vector, queries passing into query vector. Where is what? Let's see how it's called. So query. And then these are just the args that we're passing in for the session, I guess. Maybe session was supposed to be used as a namespace, but I don't think so. So let's see, include metadata and then the arguments. Yeah. Oh, wait. Ah, there you go. What is this? Set the collection name. Oh, collection is not the same as namespace. Never mind. Collection is the same, right? Is it? Let me look. So I have the project index. What is a collection? Project index and namespace. So what is the collection? So let's see. Are they using different naming? So Pinecone for a collection. No, so collection name is project name, right? Or yeah. It's the project name. So if I go up here, yeah, collection name is the project name. So that's the same, right? Set collection is an isolated space for vectors. Is it? I thought that's namespace, right? In a way. Well, in a way, this is correct as well. But let's see, where is this called? Let me zoom out a little bit. In this file, let's search for the symbol based. Yeah, so it's implemented all those. All right, so in the app, it's setting the collection name to, yeah, but it doesn't, right? It sets it once and that's it. Nothing else. So, whoops. So it's not that. Why wouldn't this work? What is this video about? Tell me that it's about str rate limiting. Writing controllers. What is the video about? Yeah, and this one knows, right? How are these different? What did I do differently? And both of them are videos, right? So it knows that it's a video. Oh, what do I? Oh, yeah, it's looks like it doesn't go to the correct namespace for whatever reason, but it's there. Well, let's double check again, right? So namespace, it is created. Namespace, chat. Okay, so maybe, so let's see that. Oops. The chat function on the app. This one. Well, let's find for the chat. Where's chat called and what does it actually call underneath? But I think it's calling the. Well, eventually the query session ID. What is AC app? Let me see. Oh, it's weird because I don't like not seeing the types, you know, in Python. I want to see the types so I can know what to search for. Embedchain app, EC app, chat. All right, yeah. So that's the. So it's not dot. So let's just look for chat like this. There has to be, like, is it a query or whatever, a question model? Oh, let's go back to the repo. Wait, no, wrong one. Back to the repo, and we'll find it here somewhere. So it's not VectorDB app. Initializing the app. Because I was looking at the query. No, but it should. I was looking at the query. Query method in the Pinecone file in that class, but this one is not calling that class directly, right? This ECApp.add somewhere underneath. I'm thinking it's calling the query on the database. It's just trying to figure out where that happens, and or if there's anything like if there's even a way to pass the namespace. Actually, we can try it. I can try this really quick. If I remove this, will Pinecone will it default to the first namespace that it finds? So let's see. Or will it say, no, I have no clue what you're talking about because the namespace that we're passing in is empty, right? It's the default one. So what is this video about? Sorry. Yeah, I don't know. I am like streaming in the highest, like the highest settings. So I don't know why the streaming in 1080p. So I have no idea why is this bad on Twitter or X or whatever. You can always head out to YouTube if you want. Sorry about that. I don't know why is it bad on Twitter. Yeah. All right. So my assumption is confirmed, right? So I asked even though I passed in writing controllers, oh wait, I removed it from the wrong place. So let's remove it from the chat here, right? And let's see what happens. What is this video about? Yeah, see? So even though I removed it from the chat here, it still tells me that the video is about PDF. So somewhere in the chat, or whatever that chat function calls, when it calls Pinecone, it's not passing through that namespace. And I'm assuming either embedchain is defaulting to the first namespace that it finds, or maybe Pinecone is doing that. I don't know. I would assume the embedchain maybe goes, oh, let me just find the first namespace, or just default to something somewhere, right? But yeah, sorry, Twitter people. I don't know why the resolution is bad. Can't do anything about it. All right, let's figure this out. And then what's that? Yeah, and then we'll finish everything. So where's the code? Here. All right, so let me open this in like an editor. Does this not work here? It does. By the way, if you go to GitHub repo and you press dot, you're gonna get this built-in like editor there, which is really nice. If you don't feel like cloning the repo and whatnot and opening it locally, right? Just to press dot on any repo and it's going to open in an editor. All right, so we're looking at chat, right? So it's not there. So let's do search there. Chat. No. Chat. All right, so input query. I'm assuming that's the thing that we're using here. Session ID. All right, yeah. If you don't provide anything, it's default. And then this is how we're providing it through the arguments, right? So we're saying namespace equals namespace. All right, and then let's see. To read more params for the query function, example, we use citations Boolean parameter in context along with answer to answer the query. The flag is true. Okay. Oh, all right. I'm not, looks like it's not in order, but anyway, so retrieve from database. History app, update the history, so we don't care about that necessarily. I don't know what adapt does. Context. So context, this is what gets passed to the LLM chat. So by this point, we're already too late, right? So it has to be in retrieve from database. The KW args are passed to this. Let's just see what this does. All right, so input query, where stations. Okay, so it gets passed, queries the vector database. Yes. Okay, I'm assuming we're config is passed in. All right, so self db dot query, and the db in our case is Pinecone, right? The KW args are passed in, right? And this is the original query. This query is called on the, whoops, let's do Pinecone. This guy, right? It calls the query down here, which passes into KW args, right? Passes them in here. This is where we want them to go. This is the namespace, but for some reason, it looks like it doesn't. Okay, so let's see. Let me see if I can find the, is it in lib? Assuming the code should be here, so I can just modify it really quickly and just add some logging and see where, up to which points do we get those KW args, or rather those the namespace value. So let's do that. What I'm looking for, embed chain, right? CD, so many dependencies here. This guy, and then we have to go embed chain vector DB. Let's do that one first. Vector DB, Pinecone, yes. And over here, initialize, setup, get, no, add query, right? Okay. So over here, I want to print out the KW args just to see what's in there, right? So we'll say, I'll just print KW args. Print where? I call print f query. Oh, okay. Yeah, we can do it that way, right? Let's just do everything so we know end results query, and this will be just so we know where it's coming from. This is Pinecone, right? Pinecone query. And let me just see, make sure that it works. And we can add it in other places as well. What is this video about? There you go. Yeah, so it is passed in, right? So the namespace gets passed in. See, it's down here into actual, like it gets to here. So then it gets passed to the query. So if I do, what do we call the collection? I forgot. Pinecone.io. Why is it asking me to log in again? I already logged in. There you go. Istio rate limiter. So if I do that as a controller or namespace name, what is this video? Yeah, it does pass it in. Oh, but that's wrong. That's wrong. There you go, right? It's passing it in, but why is it, wait, what is this video about? What's happening here? That doesn't make sense. All right, so let's try this. So what I'll do is I will, which folder am I in? I'm in the API folder. So over here, I'll just create my test.py, and we're going to call Pinecone directly and see if there's anything that's getting messed up through the embed chain, or if this is like coming from embed chain, I guess. But it shouldn't. It's there, right? Actually, let's do this. Let's make it really. I'll move this out because that's the only thing that's being passed in. I'll say namespace equals istio rate limiter. And let's see what happens. Now we're hard coding it. So now it should default to that. What is this video about? Did it start? Yep. That's odd. That's weird. Unless, let me think. What if? No, but they're, yeah, their name. I was thinking if it's like the underscores or something, right? This doesn't make any sense. Anyone, like if anyone watching, does anyone else have any ideas on what am I doing wrong here? This doesn't make sense, right? So if I do this, query is just gonna return me shit, right? But also, so the one thing that's odd is that the writing controllers has more record. I don't know if it's odd, right? There's more like records or vectors than the other video, even though the other video is longer. Let's try with a third video. I'll pick, what am I going to pick? I'll pick the microservices development with Signadot. Let's do that one. Let me just close this, like replace this back to KWArgs, so we're not hard coding it again. And then we'll do add. This is the video, and we'll call this microservices. Okay, Pinecone batches. Yep, added to microservices. All good. It should show up here as well as the third namespace. Oh, and the other way that you could use namespaces, you could, like, I guess, slice it by the content if you want to, or another logical would be, of course, per user, right? If you have like multiple users, you could do it by like every user gets its own namespace, and then they can shove anything they like in there, which is probably even better, I guess. But all depends what you're trying to solve. All right, so microservices, so it's there. So if we do query, what is this video about? See what we get. It is passing in microservices. Yeah, it doesn't know what it is about. That's really odd. So it only works for the first one? What? Oh, we have some metrics. There you go. This doesn't make sense. I'm a little disappointed because this seems like a basic of the basicest scenarios, that this should work, but it doesn't. Weird. Yeah, right. You can submit queries. Yeah. Separate namespaces. I'm trying to see if there's nothing, right? It's not telling me. Oh, wait. What is the, okay, so collection. So this explains the concept related to collections and spectrum. Collection is a static copy of an index, non-queryable. All right, so we don't care if it's non-queryable, right? So you can create a collection from an index, or you can create a new index from a collection. Different. Oh, okay. So this is just like a collection is a project, which is where they're calling it project in the UI, yet they're calling it collections on in the docs. But okay, I get it. Why this doesn't make sense? Troubleshooting. Can we do something here? Nah. It's so weird. Embedding, yeah. This is what embedchain does, right? Pretty much. Pinecone index, yeah. Populating the index, which we did. Querying. Yeah, so let's actually, all right, that's what I wanted to do, right? Let's try directly. So if I go my test, so what we need to do is we can do a query, and we'll say, what is this video about? OpenAI embedding create. So input query model is going to be whatever we had in here. GPT-3.5 Turbo, right? Oh no, the model is going to be the text embedding model, I guess, right? Probably. Yeah. What is this? OpenAI text embedding model. Let's go here and text embedding ADA 2, right? This one. Yep. My test model is this. And then this import OpenAI, OpenAI, and I need to create a client, right? I forgot already. Where was I? No. Here? No. Here. Oh, I probably clicked on. No, wrong one. What? Oh, it was this. Never mind. I have an example here. Pinecone, we need to do this as well. And an API key is import OS. And we'll do OS dot this, yep. And then OS dot get, it's Pinecone, like env or something like that. I don't remember. Yeah, I think it's this one. So we have Pinecone initialized. We don't have to populate anything. We just need to get the, well, we need to connect to an index. So let's do this. Connect. And our index name is this. Yep. And let's go back. Why am I was right there. No, let's close this one. Is it here? Yeah. Okay, so we have the index, reference to an index. To query it, we create an embedding. And then I think, oh, OpenAI, I have to configure OpenAI. Yeah, that's right. OpenAI API configuration. I forgot how it's from OpenAI import. From OpenAI import OpenAI. And then we say OpenAI, I'll call it OpenAI client, just, yeah, OpenAI client equals, and then I'll set the API key, and then this guy will be this, and I just want to see that this works. We'll print the embeddings here, and I'll close this, and I'll set the API key on a different screen. Give me a second. OpenAI. Probably have to figure out a way to connect somehow to like 1Password or something automatically, so I don't have to do this, click through, go through the UI always, just store it in one place and then have my all my code automatically query what they need to query. So create, copy, done, and we need to do, oops, export OpenAI API key equals the value. There we go, and we're back. All right, so now if I do Python 3, my test, I need to do pip install OpenAI. Pip 3 install, I guess, OpenAI. It's already satisfied. Why is it complaining? What? Oh, because I have a typo, right? OpenAI, there you go. Embedding, oh, it's still using the embeddings. It's using the old one, or I have the old version or something. Embeddings. Yeah, let's go here, and we'll see how to create embeddings. Show me the code, Python. Client embeddings, create. Client embeddings, create. Model. Model is model. Input is query, and then, yeah, everything else we don't care. Okay, so we need to, yeah, I need to figure out what is the format of the data. There we go. So, so data embedding. So it's .data data embedding. Oh, like this, right? I think. Index object. Yeah, I think this is what we need to. Probably embedding or something like that, right? Yeah, probably. Yeah, there you go. All right, so this is the embedding object, so, or vector, I guess. We have that. And this is the one. All right, so we have that, and now we can go and query the, we have the embedding. I'll call it emb, and then we can do index query our embedding, right? We'll do top 5. Oops. And include metadata. Include metadata equals true. And namespace is, what is a namespace? What are we querying? I guess this one we know it works. But let's try microservices, right? Microservices. Let's go here. And let's just see what we get back and print the result. All right, so now we're trying it directly with Pinecone and see what we get. Huh, look at that. It works, right? So it did get the, I'm trying to see if, Yeah, I think this is all from that video. So this works. Why isn't it working? So let's do this way, the same way that they have it. So match and res matches, score, match, metadata text. So let's do this. Yeah, there you go. Right. So the top one, does it sort it by probability or something? Let's see, create embedding matches. Oh, it doesn't work correctly because the embed chain is also piping it in through the OpenAI, right? So maybe that's where the failure is, right? But yeah, this is the text from the video, so this works fine. So maybe it's the portion where it maybe it gets the right data here. So let's print the context here. So we'll see right away. So context, and we'll query that or print that out as well. And then the Python 3 main. Okay, so let's run it. So I added the, what am I missing? Oh, closing parentheses. So I added the print statement to get back the query to see what the context is that we got. And this will tell us if we're actually if the Pinecone returns the correct database or correct results, I guess. So STO rate, we'll try STO rate limiter. So let's go there. Oh, this one. What is the video about? Let's see. Yeah, it is getting the right stuff. But why is this one returning the freaking Kubernetes thing? Doesn't make sense. So we get the right results. This is correct from the Pinecone. So let's dig a little bit deeper and see. So chat. This works fine. Actually, let me look at the, where's this file? Embedchain. So let's look at it here. Embedchain, and we're looking at what? Retrieve, not this one, right? So this is the query function, right? So get the right context. Oh, maybe it's the freaking cache. What? But why would it? I don't know what this cache is all about, but let's do this. Let's just comment it out and let's never cache, right? Never use cache, even though I don't know what is it doing with the caching there necessarily, but let's try that. So let me close and restart and go here. And let's see, what is this video about? Nope. It's still, it's still for some reason querying the, like returning the wrong, why? Why? Let's print these context outs here. Context, and this is from embed chain query, right? Query contexts. And let me just comment this one out because we know we get the right one there. So let's see, what is this video about? What? Why didn't print this out? Oh, I have to restart. Thought it's gonna. This video about. What? Why isn't it? Why doesn't it go here? So that's the Pinecone query, right? Retrieve from database. Yeah, so we get the right. Let's see here. Print. Yeah, retrieve from database. Let's try this. What is this video about? Okay. This is retrieve from database. We get the context correct. Doesn't get past this one. Why? Oh, wait. No. Yeah, it doesn't get past this. It doesn't get here. What? Is this like... No, but if this would fail, we would see it, right? Print error. Yeah, let's just do that. I don't care. Okay, so reloading. What is this about? Let's try again. All right, so this is... I don't get it. Why is this? So retrieve from database is called. Is it called from a different spot? No, there's only one place. Oh, well, let's go here and actually see and confirm that. Maybe it's being called from a different... place. No. Oh, well, there's two places, right? So query and chat. Oh, all right. So there's query and then there's chat. All right. So let's take this back. Let's go back. Because we're doing chat, right? But they look... Oh, let's see. Okay. So query. Oh, so maybe chat is doing something else. But it shouldn't, right? There you go. Context. Oh, there's a cache here. Freaking cache. So let's print the context out here. Now we should see the context, right? Okay. This guy. What is this? All right, so let's see if we got the embedchain query. Okay, so this, yeah, so it went here. So we got the context. So the context is correct. Update history. So there's some caching here. So let's say if we comment this freaking cache out, and we can take a look, or maybe later we can take a look what the cache is about, right? Or next time, I guess, because it's almost 5 p.m. here. What is this about? Let's see. No, now it's saying, okay, so now it's saying I have no clue what you're talking about. Okay, but the context is correct. Why is this multiple chat sessions? Is it... Oh, let me refresh. Microservices. I wonder if it's like session related. What is this video about? I thought it... Oh, there you go. Ooh, rate limiter. Will this work? What is this video about? See now, okay, so it's the session related. Somehow it caches it for whatever reason. So istio rate limiter. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so it's this freaking cache, and the way that the session is used, that's causing it to like lose its mind, I guess. Yeah, because it's taking the session ID and whatever I was asking it before, right? Like it puts that in a cache and it uses the cache, and I don't know what the adapt. What does the adapt do? Where's the adapt? Let's find it here. This one. So let's do adapt. Answer adapt. So where's this adapt coming from? What is this? Adapt. Embedchain adapt. Cache. Okay, so they have their own caching thing set up. Interesting. So if the cache config is not none, but I'm assuming it creates the cache on the first query or something, right? So the next time around, it's going to use the cache. but it does pass in the correct context. But then I guess maybe this adapt is doing something funky somewhere. I'm trying to see, because I removed all the caching from, what was this? Oh, not query, chat, right? We need to do chat. Update history. Yeah, to see this update history is chat history, memory. It's using some chat history memory, but it's always using the session ID. And if you're not providing one, it's all okay. So let's do a quick and dirty, I guess not fix, but I'll do it as a workaround for now. So all I'll do is every time you send a request, I'll send a different session ID. So that way there's never going to be it's not going to use cache, right? It's not going to use this memory, I guess. But I'm pretty sure you probably want to use that at some point for caching. Like you want to use caching in general, probably. So let's see. Am I passing this anywhere? So chat card. What is the chat card created? There you go. So if the session ID is not null, pass in the session ID, generate session. Okay, but this is only generated. Yeah, it just creates the date, but this is only generated when you refresh the page, right? Not every time. So I'll do this. Chat, and I'll just go directly to where we're sending it here. And oops. So sending query, whenever we send a query, for every new query, I'll just send in a different session ID. So my guess is that this will now work. So let's refresh. So the first one will always work, right? So let's say microservices. What is this video about? Now, if you were doing this per user, then you probably wouldn't care, right? Because you would only have one namespace. But if you want to do switching like this, you probably do care. Okay, so what was the STO rate limiter was the namespace. And we'll say, what is this video about? Yep, there we go. Now it works. Yep, so that's what it was. The session ID stayed the same because I wasn't refreshing the page. And then that session ID was used as a key for caching somewhere. Well, not in the API somewhere to use the memory, I guess, like LLM memory. But I'm not gonna. I haven't looked at it into the detail, but we know that that's the issue, right? So let's try the last one. What is this video about? Yep, there you go. So now it works. So now you can basically use this UI to switch between different namespaces, and each namespace knows about only about the data that's from that video specifically, because we're doing video. So if I do, what is this video about? It will have no clue, right? Because I didn't pass in any namespace, right? There you go. Yeah, perfect. And as soon as you would pick something, right? Services, and we'll say, what is inner loop? It should know what that is. That's in the video. Yep, there you go. Awesome. All right, let's see. I'll push this code. I think I've created the repo last time already. Let me just see. What's the name of the folder? I think it was like embed chain something. Embed chain playground. Yeah. I'll just open the full repo here. So that's the whole thing. And so I'll do like samples from the live streams and other experience. Oh, it makes sense. Let me just make sure I don't commit any API keys. So there's env local that I don't want to commit. And I think that should be it, right? API. So these are all the API changes that I did. I didn't hard code anything there. This env is already like hidden, so it's not going to go there. And we'll also do new file git ignore, and we'll ignore the virtual environment, and we'll ignore the DB folder as well, right? We don't want to commit those. All right, so these are just the examples from the last time. There's nothing too crazy there. I'll leave that in. And then stuff from today, which is, yeah, I guess there's not a lot of changes here, but I guess I have something to commit now, so I'll do that. All right, so let's do this. Get ignore main readme. Just quickly look through. I think env local is empty. Let me do. Yeah, it's empty. Okay. Well, it shouldn't be empty. It has to be a local host because that's where you run the API. So let's do this. Looking through all the files. I didn't commit this one earlier, so that's why all the files. I'll say stream stuff. So bad at. Well, I can use the Copilot to figure out what it is. Perfect. That's exactly what we wanted it to be. So playground, and we'll open the repo here. So stuff should be here now. Yep. And I'll just paste it in the chat if anyone is looking for it later on. You can try it out. All right. Well, thanks everyone for sticking with me so far, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.